क्या हो गया?
How's it going, people? Welcome back to channel. Welcome back to Boys in Blue 9320. All things the Desi home for all things Manchester City and hopefully football in general. Joining me tonight is one of our members of the OG gang, Mr. Tanmay Gupta, directly from his office. How's it going, man? How's it going? All good?
Yes, patients are alive and patients are well.
Good to know. Good to know. भाई, Good to know. Good to know. किसी की जान नहीं जा रही वो सुन के बहुत अच्छा लगा. And
Exactly.
how's the day been, man? Happy Raksha How his day has been?
It's been very hectic. I had a 24-hour duty yesterday. I'm currently on a 24-hour duty right now. So it's not really been something that I want to do, but it's also my last day at this hospital. So
अरे congratulations
yes,
बोलो commiserations.
अभी तो यार congratulations ही ले लेंगे. Commiserations तो हमारे ट्रांसफर मार्केट में बहुत ही हो ही रहे हैं.
बिल्कुल 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 बिल्कुल. That's a nice way to start it off. So right, talking about transfer market, I think so. The last piece of the puzzle has finally been unveiled. So everyone hold your horses. It's time to announce our fourth signing of the season for the first team, basically. Matheus
Yes.
Nunes to Manchester City.
Let's
Here,
let's go. Let's go.
let's go. But
I remember the exact time. I was driving back home and I get a call from Samir saying, bro, here we go.
नहीं,
I was like, क्या हो गया, क्या हो
मैंने ऐसे
गया?
नहीं कहा था. मैंने ऐसे नहीं कहा. मैंने कहा था ब्रो here wait go
Go. Ciao.
Matheus Nunes to Manchester City. Here wait go. It's a done deal. मैंने ऐसे कहा था. Like,
It was bound to
give
happen.
give
And
a view. You have to give our viewers the proper impression, man. Like, how can you miss on that?
true, true. I
So
deeply apologize to my viewers, to our viewers, that I have not stuck to the protocol,
yeah,
sadly.
stick to the script, man.
Yes.
So before wasting any more time of them, let's finally put it out in the open that yes, Brazilian-born Portuguese midfielder Matheus Nunes is joining Manchester City, and this is straight coming from Mr. David Ornstein that Manchester City has reached verbal agreement to sign Matheus Nunes in deal. Wolves consider worth over 55 million euros. Separately, Tommy Doyle, who's valued at 15 million plus, lol, set to go the other way on loan at 5 million pounds by option. If formalized, both will travel for medical. Now, to add to
How
this,
how can you value someone at 15 million, but also keep a buy clause of 5 million? Like, how is that logical?
we'll
So
talk
you
about
mean
that.
to say within the next 1 year he's going to drop in evaluation by 10 million? This
No, I
is
mean, that's not
that's
a
probably the
that's
reason how Wolves are not going to stay up this season.
yeah. Anyway, so I was adding to that case, Wolves' potential deal to sign Tommy Doyle on loan with option to buy would include significant sell-on clause to Manchester City. Now, basically, the sell-on clause जिसकी यहाँ बात हो रही है, this is 50%. Okay, अगर ये कॉन्सेशन ऐड करना भूल गया, but it's 50% as per various journalists. So, and I have to add one more thing to that I mean, Wolves is also close to sign a Girona player. Basically, it's a center back called Santiago Bueno. And the most interesting part in that is उसका release clause 25 million euro का है. और वुल्स खरीद रहे हैं उसको 10 मिलियन यूरोज में.
यार,
So
हमें
it,
एक्चुअली
it
वुल्स
takes a
वालों से
village.
नोट्स लेने चाहिए यार.
Yeah, it takes a village to complete a transfer, basically.
Like how? Okay, Wolves are pulling better deals than us.
नहीं, I mean, shouldn't it be the other way around? कि भाई बाकियों को हमसे लेना चाहिए कि how are we pulling better deals than anyone else?
No, no. If we pull a deal which is good, it's a
Hmm.
shady deal. If we pull a deal which is bad, it's a shady deal. If we pull a normal deal, it's a shady deal. We just have to choose to ignore all of them and live with all the
Yeah,
banter.
no, I agree to that because अगर तुम if you look at the comments down below whenever any transfer which has City in it as a buyer has been announced, I think so. You take any random 10 comments, random 10, or I'll say let's say for a wider pool, take 20 of them. I can
Hmm.
guarantee you 80% तो ये होगा कि FFP का है, FFP का है, FFP का है. As like FFP चिल्लाने से पहले बेसिक मैथ्स अगर आती हो तो तुम्हें बोलने वाले तुम शायद नहीं बोलते. एटलीस्ट गेट टू नो कि भाई सामने वाले की परचेजेस क्या है और सेल्स क्या है. ठीक है, एंड देन लगे तो
And
बात
even
करो.
leave the part of purchases and sales. That obviously we've done. But how can you ignore the fact that we've won all the trophies and we have a shit ton of prize money?
See, regarding that whole prize money thing, I this is what I feel that ki, whatever we have been earning in the past as well, this is just a minor
Hmm.
increment to that, and also that prize
Yeah,
money
it
has
is
been
a
distributed.
minor increment, but people have this general, if I would say, misconception, or they just choose to see it their way. It's just that whatever we buy it from sponsored money. We don't have that kind of money with us for some reason.
Spons, I
We
think
can't
so.
earn for some reason.
No, I'm yeah, sponsored money wala, the sponsored money wala thing has been a thing of past. I think that now with the way we're raising our academy players and kind
अब
of
इन लोगों की ज्यादा
promoting them.
जलती है. अब इन लोगों की ज्यादा जलती है ना. अब तो ट्रॉफी भी जीत गई जो हमें चाहिए थी.
That's actually the correct way of saying it. That more than them being pissed, they are being like they're being jealous about how things are actually how financially things are actually meddling up at City. This is what I
They
feel.
can't fathom, they can't digest the fact that new club. I don't want to say a new club, but a newly managed club relatively has
Newly
managed
taken over
to.
club. Let's say the better word, newly taken over
That's
club.
Yeah, that's a newly taken over club has managed to win everything that has been offered to it,
And
and
more,
more.
see, more winning things. Apart from just winning things, this is a club where things are doing in a structured manner, which is now turning into an
Yeah,
example for other clubs.
it's a proper business model that people don't realize.
I mean, we have like numerous examples where we kind of stuck to our valuation and walked away from the deal. Okay, and
Hmm.
that that you and me as fans, we really got pissed off when we hear the news that कि अच्छा इससे they walked out, उससे they walked out. Okay, but then when we went to our second and third targets, second choice target, or third choice targets, and when we bring any one of them, I mean, it's fair to say that it has been worked really well. I mean, having 2020 to 2023 season and earlier seasons are prime example for that. और even in this window, okay, अगर हम देखा जाए तो इस window में भी um, for Kovacic it was basically the first target, and
Guardiola also.
was the first target. Okay, but Doku, I think so. Doku was the second choice in terms of the first
I
choice.
think Doku was what we can say a backup to Olise.
Correct, correct.
And
For
Nunes,
yes,
Nunes is
Nunes,
more of a it's a precaution buy.
but I think so. Nunes in terms of hierarchy, you cannot categorize it because you don't know कि hierarchy में पहले था कौन. Because अगर हम
हाँ,
Eberechi Eze की बात करें, Eberechi Eze में भी it was not a concrete interest. It was just They're weighing up the move, in the words of
उनकी
Open. They're
प्राइस
weighing up.
टैग देखने के बाद क्या कॉन्क्रीट इंटरेस्ट भाई.
हाँ मतलब प्राइस टैग और प्लस भाई तुम नेगोशिएट भी उससे कर रहे हो हु इज आल्सो नोन टू बी अ स्ट्रिक्ट नेगोशिएटर. लाइक स्टीव पैरिश भाई वैसा वैसा नहीं है कि भाई मतलब यू कैन काइंड ऑफ गेट गेट प्लेयर्स फ्रॉम हिम इजीली.
हम्म.
तो इस हिसाब से you can see that you chose your targets very well. But coming back to Matheus Nunes, firstly, like when you heard about ki Matheus Nunes is our one of our primary targets for a midfield signing, then our first thought kya tha, and now with him being very close to be a part of City squad for the season and beyond, like were the thoughts still remain the same? Because पहले it was just a target और अब वो एक player में बनता, अब player मतलब कल तक तो शायद वो बन भी जाएगा, मतलब कल तक ही
हम्म.
बन जाएगा, कल डेडलाइन डे है अपार नहीं, डेडलाइन डे
हम्म.
डेडलाइन डे कल है तो आज तो प्लेयर बन जाएगा.
I won't be surprised if he gets to feature in the next game also.
हाँ उसका रेड कार्ड भी हट चुका है. I mean his red card was revoked in that Carabao Cup game, so I don't think so. I kind of believe that he would feature. I think so he would be registered by tomorrow as well. By today, sorry, not tomorrow. By
Uh,
today as well.
or, I don't think so. A player transferring from the Premier League should have much issues.
I mean, I think so. By today, I think so. Medical would be getting done, and probably by tomorrow we would hear an announcement or something. Anyway,
Hmm.
as a player, like if you see as a player, as now as a part of a squad, now like, basically he is someone who has been signed up, in my opinion, to be an elite backup to Rodri and Kovacic, and as well as kind of give a different dimension to Guardiola in terms of midfield, because anyway Kevin De Bruyne के injury के बाद you were still feeling that कि हाँ you do need a midfielder to fill in the place. And just to add to that also that it is safe to say that Pep has completely lost any kind of interest in giving Calvin Phillips a chance to redeem at City. So these are like my
As
two
much
reasons.
as as
What do
much
you think on
as
that?
as much as I would have loved to have Calvin Phillips, the way I saw him play in Leeds, the way he was pivotal in England squad, it's really disappointing to see that his career is being dwindled down by injuries and somewhat a lack of, what would you say, a lack of mentality that is being shown by players like Rodri who are playing 60 games a week, 60 games a season, sorry. And it's just like it's a montage of the fact that same went with Hazard. As he just, it was like you've successfully completed the big deal, the big transfer. You moved to a club that you probably dreamt of, but you got loose there, and basically you just lost all motivation to improve yourself, make it, get yourself to the level that people expect you to go to. अब वही बात आती है कि he would have probably made a difference if he would have been fit last year. Given up till World Cup, उसके shoulder issues थे, and as mentioned by Pep, he was also very unfit.
Little bit of overweight. He was kind of.
Yes, a little bit overweight.
I think so, but
Yeah,
when
and
when we spoke about this being overweight, because Calvin also kind of made it give it a clarification in
hmm,
his documentary that I was he kind of refuted there that I was not overweight. मतलब
hmm,
he according to the standards that Pep holds, शायद मैं overweight था, but on a generic level मैं इतना overweight भी नहीं था. But अगर हम I think so at some I point a little bit disagree with you in the fact that कि if he has shown anything which is mentality तो उसने दिखाई है, like he was there, ठीक है, he was
यार
working hard to
प्रेस
train.
में बोलना और पिच पे करना बहुत फर्क वाली बात है यार.
फिर बात भाई since see we both know that उसको पिच पे एक complete game खेलने को भी नहीं मिला last season, right? Even after when he came back from
हम्म,
injury post
हम्म,
World Cup, he hasn't been given a complete game in the season itself. I
Yeah,
think so. I think so. If I maybe if I'm being mistaken, शायद ब्राइटन या ब्रेंटफोर्ड की कोई गेम, बट अगर वो भी नहीं हो तो नहीं दिया है, ठीक है. So I think so. It's not too fair to judge based on those limited minutes, which is not even
I don't
reaching
want to
80
judge
minutes
him.
as well.
It's just that his situation is very unfortunate.
Yes,
One
I
which
think.
I don't think so was avoidable, but
Hmm.
I feel its magnitude could have been much different than what it is right now.
If I, what I also think that fact that it's okay to accept the fact that you are not at that level enough to play for City, and it's perfectly fair. Not every player can do that. Okay,
Hmm.
and because the fact that the level at which City players operate is like miles above the rest. तो you तो it's not everyone's cup of tea कि भाई आप आप slide in कर सकते हो squad में and kind of uphold कर सकते हो level को या उसको और ऊपर कर सकते हो. It's not everyone. It's not like everyone's not cut to do that. And Calvin के लिए भी देखा जाए तो I think so he falls in that category that he's not that player who who's seen as someone who could kind of make a difference into the squad because अगर देखिए तो जब वो आया था last year, so his whole
Hmm.
thing was that I'll challenge Rodri for that spot. And the fact that he just spot के लिए challenge करे, that spot is the fulcrum of the team. Okay? Everything operates from that position. So there is no way of any kind of complacency in terms of even getting a backup of him. See, there are transfers. हर club को होता है कि there are a couple of transfers that backfire. Okay. And this is not something to be completely depressed about or to be shameful about. It happens.
Yeah, it's
Things
just I had a certain liking for the player and the way the promise he showed while he was at Leeds and his multiple performances in England. Obviously, having won the England Player of the Year by
correct.
beating the likes of players like Harry Kane, John Stones,
Hmm.
and even Rashford, it kind of you know if you were a Leeds fan, if you got to know if you were a Leeds fan and you saw that probably your best player that has
It's true.
since Leeds had come back from the from the Championship to the Premier League, probably the best player other than Rafinha, only because Rafinha kind of helped them stay up. But it's just like it's disappointing to see a player of that potential just not living up to it. It's the
I
same with again. It's the same conclusion with Hazard. Ki we all knew Hazard was like the big thing, Eden, and how it turned out was very unfortunate. Again,
Yeah, like Hazard is one. You could also think about Donny van de Beek at United. For him, he was like
I feel
flying
Van
at
de Beek.
Ajax. No, but I was trying to think he was flying at Ajax. Taken like so he was having the best time at Ajax. Him and
I
Frankie de Jong.
again claim it. Ajax 2018-19 was the biggest money heist there has ever been. Other than probably Delict and De Jong, I don't think so. Anyone else has kind of made a mark
I think so.
on. on
Van de Beek
Van
was
de Beek was the
was
closest.
up there.
Van de Beek was the closest who could have
That's what I'm saying.
had that. Who could have had that? He
By
could have been like the way and like people had hopes from United and from Ten Hag considering this guy Van de Beek has had
in
he's played under
in
the stewardship of Ten Hag, so people actually thought he might get a chance, but sadly that also didn't come to fruition.
मतलब बहुत if I have to say in very देसी words वैंडे सार ने काट दिया. ठीक है.
Gande wala.
तो ये वही है बट यार अगेन mentality as a player, it feels right fit in terms of what we look in our players in terms of mentality. That they just keep their heads down and work and train, and when the opportunity will rise, they will be considered. But at some point, you have to drop the ball and think like, listen, I'm holding on to something,
Hmm.
but it is not going to happen. At some point, I have to move on. And for me, I think so. January window would be quite crucial for Phillips to make a call because next year Euros be here. So I hope that by January, someone will knock some sense into him and is like, listen, think about your career now. You had your ambition towards City that you want to make it over there, but it's not gonna happen. And फिलिप्स से चल के अब नूनेस पे वापस आते हैं बिकॉज नूनेस इज द रियल डील फिलिप्स बस एक शैडो बन के रह गया है अनफॉर्चुनेटली सो what
Unfortunately.
what are your hopes from Nunes or like what do you see Nunes' role and at the fact that because before talking about the role let's talk about the deal that actually got pulled off 47 million pounds which if I have to put it out, that's the first bit that we eventually put. And this whole तीन चार दिन का जो drama था, that kind of pushed back the whole deal into that first bit itself. So like the hardball Wolves ने खेला था, I think so that hardball didn't work at all.
Yeah, I think they were kind of in the mindset that they knew for a fact कि if they try to strong arm us to an extent where we don't find it to be comfortable, we will very well walk away from the deal.
No, it although I like it was very much evident yesterday that the city kind of put it out in the open that we are going to walk away. We have a limit which is 55 million pounds. We are not gonna pay beyond that. We are not gonna meet your 60 million valuation. And
Hmm.
I think so. Off the pod, we were also discussing that this whole thing, this whole transfer, it has been like orchestrated as a symphony by Mendes, apart from the board as well. Because I think what I feel, and honestly, I'll put it out there that yesterday or I have been feeling that this transfer might not go, and I have my reasons for that. देखो पहला तो था कि that I don't think so Nunes was even in the picture of this whole midfielder search.
Hmm.
This is what I think. Okay, because why? Because it was out in the open. I think so by Daily Express or Daily Mail that Guardiola was okay with the fact that if you're not signing Gundogan replacement, that's fine. But when De Bruyne injury got happened, and then and then the news came out that it would take 4 to 5 months at least to get him back to come out of the touchline and hit the field. I think at that time Pep kind of was like that maybe if I get more injuries piled on in midfield, I do need extra
Hmm.
body. And ऐसा कुछ आता है तो थिंक सो द होल जितनी भी एजेंसीज हैं when the news when the news like this breaks out that City is looking for a midfield, I think so every agent kind of gets alert ki they start pitching their players because when City comes in the market for a player, obviously every agent wants to send their players and kind of have their relationship with the club, with banking on what success we had over the last 7 8 years under Pep Guardiola. So Mendes भी वही था प्लस Mendes has also been working with them for Cancelo deal जो भी हल्ले लटक गई उस पर भी हम बात करेंगे कि Cancelo deal पे भी क्या चल रहा है तो obviously Cancelo भी work कर रहा था तो then I think so they kind of pitched Matheus Nunes to them and and also why City kind of uh, been open to that. So I have something to show over here. Just give me a second. I'll kind of put it out because yeah, yeah. Here we go.
Matheus Nunes is one of the best players, I would say, actually in the world football.
Here you go. Here, the manager. I mean, it has manager stamp all over it. But the thing that cut it out for me is like basically Mendes kind of pitched it out कि भाई इतने price पे I can get you Nunes. And what I can fairly assume the city was like, okay, if you're quoting this price, you can get him to us at that price. Go ahead, we are okay paying that much, and that I think so that also culminates in your 55 million cup bid, which came out in
Hmm.
the open. But the problem arises, in my opinion, is between Wolves and Wolves ownership, which is owned by Fosun Group and Mendes. That क्योंकि देखो Fosun wants to sell Wolves anyway. So I mean अगर उसको बोलेगा कि 55 मिलियन का बिड है and then he if they value और 65-70 तो वो तो सीरियसली मना कर देंगे कि भाई I mean as and when we are going to sell the club why we would take a hit on players valuation हमें भी player full price पे बेचना है. And also news भी आई थी that Fosun and Mendes' relationship is not the same as it was used to be in 2016. So वहाँ थोड़ा रस्साकसी चल रहा था I think so. And then uh, Mendes did the most Mendes thing. He asked Nunes to go on a strike. ठीक है. But पता है बात मेरे हिसाब से कहाँ जाके थोड़ी और अटकी कि वुल्व्स को 60 मिलियन चाहिए थे. सिटी वाज
Hmm.
ऑफरिंग 5. गैप 5 मिलियन का था. Which is not a big gap. Okay. So for me, I think so that point City did not rate him high. The board did not rate him. Obviously, Guardiola has spoken words and everything, but वो पिछले साल की बात है. This was in February 2022. एक साल में things change in our squad. If not anyone else, आज अपने squad में चीजें साल भर में बदल जाती हैं. I think so that point Nunes was basically then like कि हाँ मिले तो ठीक है नहीं तो maybe we'll figure out कि in our existing squad की कैसे solutions incorporate करना है. So
Hmm.
then I think so yesterday in the morning the news came out कि they'll walk away 55-7 नहीं देंगे, which is basically like the club has said have made this chance clear कि देखो 55 हमारा stance है. Now the ball is in your court. And I think
अब
so
तुम्हारी
आज
मर्जी है भाई, तुम्हें एक्सेप्ट करना है करो, नहीं करना मत करो.
और I mean, and also it's pretty evident that Wolves is going through a financial crunch. They have the FFP issues with them. I mean, चार manager बदले यार उन्होंने, तो obviously they need money to reinvest or to kind of handle the FFP thing. तो
Hmm.
इससे सब but अगर ये पूरी डील की स्ट्रक्चर देखी जाए as we एक तो we agreed on a deal for 47 million pounds and then Tommy Doyle is going towards Wolves on a loan with an option to buy for 5 million pounds with a 50
Hmm.
million sell-on clause. And in addition to that, Girona, which is owned by City Football Group, they took a hit on the valuation of Santiago Bueno, who is the centre back, and they've agreed to sell him to Wolves for 10 million. So this is all kind of is adding up towards a transfer. Mendes is kind of pulling all the strings to kind of make this happen, and it did happen. बट और अगर मैं ये पूरा स्ट्रक्चर भी सुनूं ना मेरे हिसाब से तो भाई कि अपने तीनों मस्केटियर्स ने बुली किया है, तो इसीलिए हमने उनके लिए एक ट्रिब्यूट में एक खास चीज बनाई है जो है थ्री मस्केटियर्स की जय हो. भाई जय हो उनकी. लाइक सारे पाप धो लिए भाई एक विंडो में. अब अगला विंडो आई थिंक से वो पूरा फुल प्रूफ है कि करे नहीं करे कोई कुछ नहीं बोले. क्या लगता है भाई, मतलब
टीकी टीकी का
दो
यही
शब्द
है,
दो शब्द
टीकी का यही है कि पूरे सीजन पूरे विंडो गाली खाता है,
हम्म,
बद्दुआएं लेता है.
हम्म,
हमारे क्लब का ये रीति रिवाज है कि जब तक प्लेयर को गाली ना पड़े तब तक
हम्म.
प्लेयर का असली पोटेंशियल भी बाहर नहीं आता. हमने
ये
रॉड्री को गाली दी. रॉड्री अब बेस्ट सीडीएम इन द वर्ल्ड एंड वन ऑफ द बेस्ट मिडफील्डर्स इन द वर्ल्ड.
हम्म,
एडरसन, जो बंदे से हम सेव का एक्सपेक्टेशन नहीं करते थे, आज हम उससे क्लीन शीट एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं. 3 क्लीन शीट लगातार प्रीमियर लीग में. सुपर परफॉर्मेंस इन द चैंपियंस लीग, सुपर परफॉर्मेंस इन द सुपर कप. He is practically the reason we actually made it to the finals and we won the finals.
Okay, where are you going with this?
Hmm?
कहाँ भाई तू एडिसन की तारीफ कर दी है, रॉड्री की तारीफ कर दी है, फाइनल
हम्म।
इम्पोर्टेंट क्या है भाई, कहाँ जा कहाँ रहा है?
वही कहना चाह रहा हूँ कि यार अपने वालों को जब तक गाली ना पड़े ना तब तक वो काम नहीं करते। और वो हम उन्हें पर्सनली जाके भी गाली नहीं देते, उनको हम टेलीपैथिक गाली देते हैं ताकि वो रात में करवट लेते हुए भी वो सोचे कि यार इसने
भाई
बोला था डील कर लो।
बर्नर 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 अकाउंट्स इज नो मोर अ फिक्शनल थियरी, इनके बर्नर अकाउंट्स हैं, इज नो मोर अ फिक्शनल थियरी, they have their burner accounts, they are watching, they know who's talking to whom, who's commenting what on them and everything, they are watching, right? They are watching. But so like all the four deals that we have pulled off, I think so
हम्म।
none of them पहले तो this is a strange window in the sense that all the four deals have no add-ons, and that includes Matheus Nunes as well. There is no add-ons. 47 million straight. The thing that also moved in this deal particularly कि payment terms थोड़े improve किए गए, as reported by many journalists कि payment terms have been made better for Wolves because they do need cash to do their things. So no add-ons, no sell-on clause for players, and that includes players who are 21 years old, like your Doku is 21, your Guardiola is 21, Nunes is 25, has just turned 25. So resellability डिस्कार्ड नहीं की, लाइक रीसेलेबिलिटी है, बट देन अगेन you don't like basically को ना कॉर्ड ही काट दिया है of the previous clubs कि you
हम्म।
know once once they are ours completely and wholly. You don't own even a single percent of them, even after they don't, even if they don't play for you. Like, do
वही बात आ
you
जाती
see
है।
this is like a kind of एक नया चेंज आ रहा है कि नाउ वी आर पुलिंग ऑफ डील्स जिसमें एड ऑन्स एंड ऑल नहीं है, सो लाइक काइंड ऑफ लाइक अ चेंज और लाइक अ transformation the way we do business or how we
I feel
structure
we're
things.
finally, I feel we're finally putting our foot down. We're
Hmm.
not the scaredy cats anymore. We're not the people who are always the regressor rather than the aggressor. अपने को अगर कोई प्लेयर चाहिए तो हम उसके लिए पूरी जान लगा देंगे। बट वही पॉइंट है कि लाइक if the club doesn't want to deal with it properly, then okay, we also don't want to deal with it. It's not something
Right.
कि हम भीख मांगते रहेंगे, हम बोलते रहेंगे यार प्लीज प्लीज प्लीज, बट that's the whole point कि we're not that kind of club anymore. We're more of the point कि you want to deal, we'll give you a price. You don't want the price, we won't deal further.
Yeah, makes sense. Even coming back to Nunes, because in the beginning we were going after for Bellingham, but
Hmm.
he chose Real Madrid over City. And then
Hmm.
when the window started, we kind of made close to our highest, like close to 90 million bid for Declan Rice.
Hmm.
But then I think so. In previous pods, I spoke that City needs players who commit to them completely rather than having second thoughts about them. And Declan Rice
I honestly feel, I still feel to this day that the
Hmm.
Declan Rice price tag that we supposedly quoted, supposedly offered West Ham was just a PR move so that West Ham would increase its prices and Arsenal would buy Rice for 105 million pounds.
नहीं, ये थोड़ा लंबा बहस का डिस्कशन हो सकता है, तो विल काइंड ऑफ कीप दिस ऑन सम अदर डे. But in a market like this, where you have Caicedo, where you have your Caicedo's going for 115, you have your Enzo's going for 110 or something, and as I mentioned, Declan Rice for 105. Getting basically a box to box midfielder who can play as a
Hmm.
number six, who can play as a number eight. Okay, and if I think so, I might stretch it out, but I do see him at some point that he might also turn into someone who could follow the footsteps of Bernardo Silva as a midfielder. Like
Hmm.
उस type of versatile player you're getting for 47 million pounds in a market like this, in a time like this, where every team is just want to rinse the buyer. It's no longer a buyer market anymore. It's a seller market. तो मतलब नंगा करने वाले market में you basically kind of snatching a player who's young, who's 25 right now. Okay, he's not someone who's like a 27 or 28 or like in his 30s. तो ऐसे player को 47 में लेके आ रहे हैं. I think so. Like when other clubs say that we got getting fleeced, you have to understand how to negotiate and how to do your deals. Because when we can bring someone from 47 and that too 3 days before market ends, I mean that shows ki, you know, it things take time, but in the end, as Chiki said, what we do is we keep winning.
Winning.
So like तेरे हिसाब से were
Hmm.
you like what do you see of the like were you surprised कि यार इतने में तो नहीं ये तो बहुत कम दे दिया है मतलब like I was surprised, that's why I'm asking. I'm still a little bit
I
surprised.
feel I feel it's probably the inclusion of Tommy Doyle that
Hmm.
made them, soften on their stance. Because we know for a fact कि हाँ अपने लिए अभी Tommy Doyle is not someone who we would prefer to keep even on the bench.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
we don't like we've kind of made it clear that we don't see him part of our as a part of our plans.
He
And to
never even started for a first team anyway. Like except that FA
uh,
Cup game, he never even started for a first team anyway. So he
exactly.
was he had a spectacular season at Sheffield United on loan, him and McCarthy. So this was the year where we were supposed to anyway sell him out in one way
Hmm.
or the other. We kind of and
Hmm.
plus this also Wolves का भी situation खराब है, so we kind of sweetened the pot by putting Doyle at a very discounted price. क्योंकि वैसे भी वो he was not he wouldn't have broke into this team, and especially because in the terms of what we expect from our youngsters, that's a very high level. That's very the parameters are high, the benchmark is high. That's why you get your Fodens or Lewis and now Oscar Bob. So I mean Pep demands are quite high from the youngsters that he wants to incorporate in the squad. So, but Nunes, what do you see? Backup option, like a very backup option, or do you see him kind of getting the games? Like because I think so. We spoke about earlier that Rodri came out in the open. That I cannot have that season that I had last year. So I
Hmm.
kind of was basically putting it out in public that get me a midfielder who can take my place where I can rest in 10-15 games. Is Nunes that player for you? Or is
I feel
Kovacic?
he can be. I feel he very well can be because let's face it, we had interest in him before as well, last
Hmm.
season as well. I
Yes, yes,
remember
yes.
him being talked about a lot
Hmm.
and him being somewhat, considered to be the prospect. Now, moving up to the fact that will he be able to attribute for Rodri, I feel he can, given that he works according to Pep's plan, because obviously he's a midfielder and Pep will take the utmost privilege to train him.
Correct.
So, coming up to that point, I feel he will prove to be a good replacement or a good deputy for Audrey at least.
I think, yeah, I kind of agree to that. That Nunes, Nunes checks that one thing. Ki bhai, he's versatile. Okay, you
Hmm.
can use him around in various positions, be in double pivot as alongside Kovacic if Rodri wants to go a little higher up as 8, or you can use him in place of Rodri in cup games or like quite less insignificant games where you can give Rodri a rest, or when you have a game week where you have to play 3 games,
Mm,
let's back to back. So when you can pick one game and give put Rodri on bench in that game, and Nunes can handle along with Kovacic. So yeah, that one thing of having versatility, one thing of having physicality as a player where he can kind of break the attack and kind of brush past the opponents and everything. So
mm.
he kind of fits into that bill. So and this, I think that the price tag and the play we are getting, it's a win-win situation for us. I'll just put it.
Definitely.
विन और विन विन सिचुएशन से याद आया कि सिर्फ एक ही घटना नहीं हुई है, अगर एक इनकमिंग भी है तो एक मैसिव आउटगोइंग भी है, एंड दैट ब्रिंग्स मी टू आवर नेक्स्ट segment, which is Alvida Cole. And to like from the bottom of my heart, I wish him all the best. Firstly, I wish Cole Palmer all the best. Our Vinton Shaw Mahrez, or you could say the mini Mahrez, is finally getting his move. Uh, he's moving to Chelsea Football Club, and just to put it out there, uh, yeah, another on-screen dangle where
I could have honestly lived with the fact if he didn't go to Chelsea
no, but I'll
because
just put
that's a bigger career suicide for him.
हाँ, उस पर उस वही तो कह रहा हूँ वो, जस्ट होल्ड ऑन टू दैट फैक्ट, जस्ट होल्ड ऑन टू दैट बिकॉज वही मेन,
Hmm.
वही उस पर वही काफी खींचेगा अभी. So according to David Ornstein, Chelsea have reached agreement with Manchester City to sign attacking midfielder Cole Palmer. CFC expected to pay MCFC fee in the range of 40 to 45 million for 21-year-old England youth international. Medical
Hmm.
anticipated in next 24 hours ahead of completing transfer. Okay, so जो तूने अभी कहा, this is a career suicide.
Hmm.
तो I'll put three parties in perspective.
Hmm.
पहले for our club,
Hmm.
ठीक है, where like is it from a club perspective तेरे हिसाब से how do you see this deal?
I see this as an absolute win if we're just comparing the deals because obviously you're you're offloading a player who has had probably a handful of meaningful appearances for a club. Given
He
that
had
he was,
he had
given that
19
he was a, yeah, given that he
हाँ.
was very pivotal for us in the Community Shield. Sadly, we lost that. And even like I didn't used to rate him that much. I used to usually see the fact that he was very, how do you claim it? He was very self-centered. He didn't want to play as a team. He merely wanted to show what he can do on the pitch. But after some time, when he kind of matured his game, he started playing well, started playing like how we expected a player of his caliber to play. But वही बात है, step is step. वो बंदा अगर बोल देगा कि भाई तेरे लिए जगह नहीं है, तो तू चाहे गड्ढा खोद दे उसके सामने, कुछ कर दे, तेरे लिए जगह नहीं बनेगी.
नहीं हाँ करेक्ट. अगर देखो, if Pep wanted him to be a part of the squad, वो नहीं चाहता.
He would have vetoed the deal.
Exactly. I mean, because uh, like you have players who are replaceable. Some of there are very few who are not, but rest of them they are. Like अगर हम कोल पामा की बात करें तो कोल पामर जा रहा है तो you have Oscar Bob who's ready to take his place, right?
Hmm.
And also barring the also it was a fact, it was a thing that Brighton did offer 30 million pounds, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 30 million pounds, which got rejected. And for someone who has not scored a goal, I think so. Uska, Community Shield was his first goal or second goal for the club. Okay, someone who has
Hmm.
around 19 to 20 matches that he played, being as a starter of coming from the bench. तो उसके लिए if you're getting 45 million, okay,
Hmm.
I think so. From a price point of view, this is an absolute steal for us, not for them.
Absolute W. Absolute
It's an
W for us.
absolute, yeah. I mean,
He has done it again.
हाँ मतलब यार, if I recollect it well, yesterday I think so McInerney के podcast में बताता है there is a player who's in a squad who has been linked with a big six club, but then Romano revealed that it's Cole Palmer, which makes sense, uh, which kind of fits in that whole thing that McInerney said. तो और आई थिंक शाम में ही रोमानो का आया था कि दैट चेल्सी इज लुकिंग टू हैव कोल पामर एज वन ऑफ देयर ऑप्शंस फॉर एज एन अटैकर, और रात तक तो शायद अग्री भी हो गई. तो लाइक बेसिकली जो चाहिए था चेल्सी ने तुरंत दे दिया, एंड ये काम चेल्सी ही कर सकती है. विच लाइक अगर ये
Hmm.
विंडो कुछ सिखाता है तो सिखाता है कि अगर आपको एक प्राइस पे अपना प्लेयर बेचना है और अगर चेल्सी मार्केट में है तो चेल्सी ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लगाती. I think so. Caicedo was basically that was one of those exceptional cases because of the price as well. But ऐसे में नहीं उठाती. और more than Chelsea ये काम जो शील्ड्स, अगर if you know, Joe Shields was our head of recruitment before he moved to Southampton and then at Chelsea. ये रोमियो लाविया, आपका सैम एडोजी और गैबिन बजूमो जो साउथहैम्पटन में खेलते थे, मतलब आई मीन
Hmm.
लाविया साउथहैम्पटन में खेलता था, बजूमो और एडोजी कभी भी साउथहैम्पटन में है. And then the the Cole Palmer. These are all Joe Shields picks for the for City as well. तो ये बेसिकली वही अपने जैसे पॉलिटिशियन नहीं होता कि अपने एमएलए को रिजॉर्ट में बंद करने वाले काम करता है. तो ये अपना प्लेयर उठा रहा है बेसिकली. This is
We
his
at
own.
Boys in Blue do not endorse any political party.
We're just putting out in a mechanism, like हमने तो किसी का नाम भी नहीं बोला है. हमसे
समझदार को
हम
इशारा ही काफी है.
नहीं, ये अगेन ये मैं एंडोर्स नहीं कर रहा. ठीक है, ये लाइन ना मैं एंडोर्स नहीं कर रहा हूँ. मुझे हम हमको अपने में शामिल मत कीजिए, हम अलग हैं. ठीक है? आजकल तो बिस्कुट कोई पार्ले जी बोलना पड़ता है. अब क्या बोल रहे हो जी? तो coming back to Palmer. Okay, back to Palmer. So from a price point of view, it's good. From a Chelsea's point of view, they're getting a really quality player. हम लोग actually expect कर रहे थे कि this will be his breakout season. Okay, because
Yeah,
he has been.
I was. Yeah, लगा यार कि यार maybe now he's gonna get his flowers. He's actually
Yeah,
gonna
he was in
make
our academy.
break even. He's gonna break even. He's not gonna be another Sancho. But
हाँ, yeah, that's
विधि का
nicely put.
विधान कौन रोक सकता है?
वेदी का विधान या ट्रांसफर्स का विधान. I mean, come to think of it, ना,
विधान.
come to think of it, Palmer was in our academy from 2010 when he was 8 years old.
Hmm. Hmm.
And he basically grew at City. Okay. So now going to Chelsea, I mean, देखो, we don't doubt on his talent. ठीक है ना? There is a reason why he has been dubbed as Mini Mahrez. And मतलब वो कहते हैं ना, उसके पैरों में बिजली है कि he kind of
Hmm.
what he sees many of those youngsters in his age don't. तो चेल्सी को देखा जाए तो बहुत ही रॉ और एक प्रॉपर टैलेंट मिल रहा है if they can nurture it well. But my whole point is that इस डील से क्या पामर को फायदा होगा, बिकॉज जो प्रॉब्लम सिटी में है चेल्सी में भी वही प्रॉब्लम है. इट्स मच वर्स बिकॉज इन
Yeah,
हिज
it's
पोजीशन
gonna be a
राइट
हाँ.
इन हिज पोजीशन एज राइट विंगर आपके पास स्टर्लिंग है, मतलब उनके पास स्टर्लिंग है, उनके पास नोनी मादुएके है. ठीक है, राइट लेफ्ट फिंगर पे वो आई हैव नेवर सीन हिम गिविंग अ really memorable performance as a left winger. But then if you see his position even in the right or in center, आपका चलो इंकुंकू भी मान लिया है, इंकुंकू भी मान लिया अभी इंजर्ड है, बट वापस तो आएगा। ठीक है, आपका चुकुएगा भी वापस आएगा। तो when Chelsea would have a fully fit squad, would Palmer be able to like make his way into first team sheet? Because your fight is literally with Sterling, who is balling at Chelsea. Like Abhi, even though he has started showing his performance in highly rated Luton Town के against, but then you could see that कि हाँ मतलब हो सकता है this season में Sterling could kind of show those glimpses that he was used to do for us in this 18-19 or 19-20 season. तो अगर वो हो जाता है तो तुझे क्या लगता है कि भाई मतलब like do you see any scope where Palmer would regret this decision?
Depends on his performance, depends on how serious Chelsea takes him. If they are just bringing a reinforcement with the mindset that, okay, we're gonna keep some interest in you until we have our main men back, then it could also be the beginning of the end for Palmer. But
Yeah.
if if they come with the approach ki we know our main men are gone, they're injured, we don't know when they're going to come back. So now is a chance to prove why we should choose you over those two. I would still agree that Palmer still has a chance over Chukwuemeke, but
Chukwueka.
against
Chukwueka.
huh?
Chukwueka.
I have a strong urge to say something rhyming with that, but no, that is not
I got it.
friendly for our viewers. Yeah, very good,
I understood.
very good, very good. So him or Nkunku, but Nkunku का क्या है कि we've seen him, and I highly doubt that Nkunku will be ignored over in terms of thinking in a Palmer point of view. But वही है कि Palmer, I feel he only has two approaches in Chelsea. Either they straight up to his face tell him कि भाई, we only got you because we don't have our main man right now, and we're going to keep you relevant till they come back. And after that, you're going to see what you have been seeing at Manchester City for all this time.
No,
But
but
again, वही same चीज कि if somehow Pochettino thinks कि okay, let's make use of the situation. Let's see how good he is. If he somehow gets featured more frequently and he somehow performs, he could actually book a ticket or like punch a ticket for himself in the first team.
yeah,
He I don't even know if I would call this another Sancho route because to
yeah,
be honest, the situations when Sancho left and when he is leaving right now are much different than what they were at that time because Sancho left in what 2017,
yes,
2018,
17,
2017,
yes.
and since during 2017 Pep had just come and we had won two Premier League titles.
By means I think it was 17-18 we won. We first one in 17-18, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So by 2018, yes, two titles.
yeah. So that's the whole thing that at that time again we were like, okay, we're good in our league, we're good in the country, but we're still not being able to replicate the level of success on the European level. So every player in the academy would have a backhand feeling that हाँ भाई तुम चाहे जितना जीत जाओ तुम्हें जब तक चैंपियंस लीग नहीं मिलेगा तुम्हें कोई रेलेवेंट नहीं बोलेगा.
Correct.
And
But you know,
that's and but like I feel if it comes to attitude issues, Palmer barely had any.
yeah.
He was
हाँ,
the he was
मैंने भी कभी
the
ऐसा सुना नहीं, कभी ऐसा सुना नहीं कि
हाँ
पामर का कुछ ऐसा बवाल हुआ है.
yeah he was the more affirmative guy कि हाँ ठीक है, whatever the gaffer is saying I'm gonna agree to it because I know the gaffer is thinking the best for me, and I honestly feel Pep would have given his blessings for this transfer. He would have been like, yeah, I know I can't, but I know you want to play. I know I want to make you play, but there is honestly no space for you right now. And I
Correct,
don't want
correct.
your career to dwindle down on the bench.
But I just recalled something that this whole 45 million का fee is basically a pure profit क्योंकि academy player है. So again, you know,
Our academy business is something that needs to be studied in Harvard.
yeah, our academy business, देखा जाए तो academy business has kind of sustained a lot of what our transfer business goes on for first team in general. क्योंकि at some point you have to use something as a vehicle, and first team
And
and academy
yeah,
transfers do that. Or
and
also just
to think of
just have
it,
to put it
to
out.
think,
Just have to put it out.
huh,
So from all of us as at Boys and Blues 1920, big congratulations to Bernardo Silva and his wife Ines on the birth of their first child. So
if they don't name the
congratulations to
child
both of
Treble,
you.
I am
They have
denouncing
it.
the child.
They have it. They have it. They have it.
मैं उस बच्चे की असलियत पे शक करता हूँ.
Okay. Again, I have. I just put it out. I have nothing to do with what he said. Okay.
Yeah, but
I
yeah,
I have nothing to do with what he said.
hearty congratulations to our main man, our
Bernardo.
engine, our machine.
Our Bernardo Silva running down the wings.
Yes.
Coming back to Cole Palmer, I mean, A for the club, it's an absolute steal of a deal to get a
As the
pure
legendary
profit.
Borat once said, great success.
नहीं पूरा कंप्लीट खुद ही कर.
अब वो वाला नहीं कर सकता भाई. नहीं, that is the statement, great success.
अच्छा.
I don't want to say it in the accent,
So,
otherwise I'll be judged heavily.
so okay, so I have to give a very modern version of that, as said by legendary Sergio Aguero. Different gravy,
Different.
different gravy.
Or if I have to say by a quote by the legendary Thierry Henry, he knows what he's doing. He's cooking.
Is cooking.
He's cooking.
Those that's why I said Three Musketeers ki jai ho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiki is the kind of guy who'd start a barbecue by putting petrol in the coal, but
Hmm.
still end up making the best chicken wings anyone has ever had.
That's a good way of put it. Speaking of coal and petrol, let's talk about Joao Cancelo for a minute. Because यार इस आदमी का पता नहीं है, इस आदमी की सही में साढ़े साथ ही चल रही है, क्या चल रही है. Because Barca has said to Cancelo, baby, hold on. So I have to report it out that recently it has been said that on Monday, Joao Cancelo has been informed by FC Barcelona's representatives to stay at Lisbon while he was at the airport to arrive at Barcelona for medicals, as the club is facing difficulty in registering him due to their financial issues. But to add to this, I mean, अगर कोई Barcelona fan देख रहा हो तो just to give you a little bit ray of sunshine, Barcelona has offloaded Clement Longley to Aston Villa on loan, जिसकी I think
Bar-
जिसकी salary has been set of 15 million euros on a yearly
Wait,
basis.
Barca has
The
offered Longley to us.
नहीं, Barca has offloaded Longley to Aston Villa.
हाँ.
तो उसकी सैलरी गई ना वहाँ पे. I mean, I think the Villa is paying the whole salary or whatever long they're charging for them. So I think that space would kind of be
ये मेरे
used
को
for
लग रहा है ये
finance.
भिखारी क्लब एक प्राइवेट जेट नहीं अफोर्ड कर पा रहा है. ये स्पिरिट एयर में भिजवाएंगे इसको कैंसिलो को, वो भी इकोनॉमी क्लास में।
एक्चुअली क्लास का पता नहीं, बट आई थिंक सो फ्लाइट तो कमर्शियल वाली थी rather than a प्राइवेट जेट। तो इसका पता नहीं, देख वी आर नॉट स्पेंडिंग टू मच टाइम ऑन इट, बट इट्स जस्ट दैट if this deal falls through, it's not us. It's only and
वी
only
डिडंट नो,
Barca. It's not.
वी लिटरली सेड कि भाई लेके जाओ उसे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है।
हम्म हमने तो हेरविगो का ठप्पा मार दिया है। अब
हाँ,
वो बारसा का इशू है, बट जहाँ जहाँ किसी और के कटने की बात आई है, वहाँ किसी और की तारीफ की बात भी की जाए। एंड वी टॉकिंग अबाउट द वन, द ओनली, द मिथ, द लेजेंड, मिस्टर अर्लिंग ब्रॉट हालैंड, who won the PFA's Men's Player of the Year award yesterday. पहले तो
and
big
was robbed of
congratulations.
the young player of the year, and was robbed of the young player of the year because they
वो
had to have the inclusivity of having Bukayo Saka. I don't get the, I still don't get the logic. If you have nominated the guy and you know he has been the best player in the league, how in the hell can you claim that Bukayo Saka was better than Erling Haaland? What criteria have you said ki Bukayo Saka deserves the Young Player of the Year over Erling Haaland, who in his first season not only broke the Premier League record, won the Premier League Golden Boot, won the European Golden Boot, won the Champions League, won the Premier League, won the FA Cup, finished the treble, is arguably the best player in the world right now. But for some reason, that Bukayo Saka still ends up winning the Young Player of the Year.
that's
But
that's that's
but
that's a
but
nice
I also
thought.
call but I also call touche. I also call touche to the fact that Foden didn't deserve one of the Young Player of the Year. So it's okay. I understand.
So basically your तेरे opinion का कर्म तुझे काट गया. So look at the guy, man. Look at the guy holding the PFA's men's player of the year.
It just looks much better with a City guy holding the PFA Men's
Yeah,
Player of the Year,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that
So
and obviously
we
they had to
will
make it.
we will be, we will be biased, but we are meant to be. So if anyone else is watching, sorry, man. I mean, we are we love
You
that
you
guy.
wanna you wanna name the best defender in the league? You wanna name the second? Okay. You wanna name the best defender in the league? You name Ruben Diaz. You wanna name the second best defender in the league? You name John Stones. You wanna name the
Yes,
best midfielder in the Premier League? You name Kevin De Bruyne. You wanna name the second
yes,
best midfielder in the Premier League? You name Rodri.
100%.
You wanna name the best striker in the Premier League? Haaland.
I
कहाँ
agree.
है कमी कहाँ है?
हर basis covered है भाई, हर basis covered है, हर basis covered है.
ये
And
हमारे
since तूने इतना
पूछनीय।
गिना दिया, since
हाँ
तूने
जी।
इतना गिना दिया, I'll also add
यस।
to that in PFA's team of the year, not just Erling Haaland, John Stones, Kevin De Bruyne, Ruben Diaz, and Rodri have also been included in PFA's team of the season. But हमारे डॉग को लगता है कि पूरा का पूरा प्लेइंग 11 ही हमारा होना चाहिए था, किसी और को देनी ही नहीं चाहिए थी जगह.
See, it's clearly again the whole point of inclusivity. If you see the PFA's team of the year, you will also see the fact that they had to make it into a 4-4-2 while having Saliba on left back for God knows what reason. Considering Saliba was particularly absent in the last third of the season,
Correct.
and I feel I know it's a long shout, but if not Saliba, I would have rather had Ake. That guy,
Yeah, yeah.
it's controversial in its own sense, but again, if you
But
talk about
I get it where you're coming from. I kind of
exact,
get
exact,
the
exact,
rationale behind it. because I also
Exactly.
feel the same because आके इस पूरे whole season इस whole treble winning season में I mean I think so आके का रोल अगर आप हटा दो तो uh, I don't see this being a treble winning season without Ake being a part of it, without Ake's contribution being heavily regarded as vital as as it is.
Right.
That's so
So guys,
Ake ka
this is what you see right. This is what you see right now. This is the work phone that I have to use. I have to listen from this work phone. I get calls from this work phone from every ward and every wing, and somehow I have to use this, and somehow I have to answer from this, which barely makes any sound, just like the
correct.
people at Anfield after this get scored at. So yeah.
We're supposed we're looking to wrap it up, but I think so. We have to put it out as breaking news that Manchester City will face the mighty Newcastle United in the EFL Cup's third round in an away fixture.
शुरू करते ही खत्म करना है इन्हें. ठीक है, फिक्सचर कंजेशन कम होगा अपना. हियर वी गो.
Hmm. Let let the season actually begin. Any first thoughts? Carabao Cup
First,
third
I
round.
feel
Newcastle United.
I feel that Newcastle game, if Pep takes it too seriously, again, couldn't. ठीक है भाई, फर्स्ट टीम खिलाएगा. बट इफ ही नोस कि हाँ ठीक है, might as well experiment. I might, not even I might, I would want to see Doku play. I want to see Nunes play,
Uh,
and I I want to see how much they would actually. I feel this Carabao game will definitely be a huge marker in deciding who gets what in the future of this season, because
yes, I agree with that. Because Carabao Cup में like Carabao Cup is like a bench. Carabao Cup में feature हो रहे हो मतलब आपकी टीम में थोड़ी value है. If you're not even playing the Carabao Cup games, that means you are not seen as a part of the squad yet or forever. But हाँ मतलब Newcastle is a tough test because we had a Newcastle game at home in Premier
hmm,
League where we kind of seen that how difficult it was to snatch a result from them. Okay, and
definitely,
again, and now we are playing at St James Park, which in the words of Kevin De Bruyne is the most toughest atmosphere he's ever faced in his career in England. And now we are kind of beginning our journey at a fixture like this. तो कहना ही चाहता हूँ कि जो लोग ये बोलते हैं that कि City also always gets easy fixtures, भाई लास्ट साल के बाद ना please you can say anything but not this type of shot.
we beat we beat Liverpool,
Hmm.
we beat Arsenal, we
Hmm.
beat Chelsea, we
Hmm.
beat United, we
Hmm.
beat Munich, we beat Madrid, we beat Inter, we beat Dortmund.
Hmm.
और क्या चाहिए तुम्हें?
सबको तो हरा दिया भाई.
और क्या चाहिए?
Speaking of all these teams which you said, UCL draw. It's gonna happen tonight.
Yes.
So, I mean, we are in basically. I'll just show you the pots and everything. So
पहली
basically,
बार पॉट वन धड़ल्ले से घुसे हैं.
यार पॉट वन ही में रहते हैं भाई हम लोग आजकल कहाँ
हम
कहाँ दूसरे
रहते हैं,
पॉट.
बट अब पॉट वन के भी नंबर वन है.
हाँ पॉट वन के नंबर वन है मतलब
Yes.
हाँ ये फर्क है
अब
भाई
अब
ये
हर चैंपियंस लीग ड्रॉ के टाइम पे हर कमर्शियल के बाद जब चैंपियंस लीग का एंथम बजेगा, they will have to show the most recent winners, and who are the most recent winners? Not
you know
Arsenal.
that भाई this is I I I I respect that feeling भाई मतलब
It's
ये
gonna be
किल्लत
something surreal.
ये
It's gonna be something कि यार हम
इस
चेल्सी
किल्लत
वाला
की
मोन्टाज
इस
देखते हैं.
किल्लत की मैं इज्जत करता हूँ भाई इस किल्लत की मैं इज्जत करता हूँ.
हम चेल्सी का मोन्टाज देख के थक गए, हम मैड्रिड के मोन्टाजेस देख के थक गए। अब
let's
एक्चुअल में अब अपना मोन्टाज दिखेगा। इट्स लाइक अ
okay.
प्राउड फीलिंग।
Let's talk about the pots जो कल के
यस।
ड्रॉ में, कल के ड्रॉ के लिए। Let's talk about the pots. So pot one is Manchester City, aka the defending champions of Europe. गर्व से बोलो. Then you have
And
Sevilla. You have,
and the three-time defending champions of England, the best team in
yes,
all of land.
the three-time defending champions over 3 years.
Yes.
पूरा बोला कर. ठीक है. Then you have Sevilla as you, Europa League
Europa
winners.
champion. Yes.
Europa League winners. You have Barcelona, Napoli, Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, Benfica, and Feyenoord. Then in pot
Feyenoord
two,
is
you have.
Feyenoord. Feyenoord is surprising, but yeah,
I mean,
Feyenoord अच्छा
I
है.
think they are Dutch champions. They are Dutch champions. So उस हिसाब से.
Hmm.
And they have Real Madrid, Manchester United, Inter Milan, Borussia Dortmund, Atletico Madrid, RB Leipzig, Porto, and Arsenal in pot two. Welcome back, Arsenal, after 7 years. How does it feel? Comments में बताइएगा. Then you have pot three. You have Shakhtar Donetsk, Red Bull Salzburg, AC Milan, Lazio, Red Star Belgrade, Braga. I assume they have one more spot. I think वो qualifiers के लिए बचा के रखा है.
It's
But
actually funny. It's actually funny how the pot three has a combined Champions League trophies of 9.
more than others, not more than
It's
others. I think so.
9 Champions League trophies have been won by clubs in pot three. 9.
ये आपको अब ये सब इंफॉर्मेशन आपको और कहाँ मिलेगी? यही मिलेगी. तो
कहाँ
सब्सक्राइब
मिले?
कीजिए, लाइक कीजिए. कहाँ
डीमार्ट
मिलेगी यार?
डीमार्ट के पास दिखा दूंगा।
भाई यार क्या कर रहे हैं हम लोग? तारीफ करने के बाद वो सब ड्रॉप मत दे. देन पॉट
फुटबॉल की
लास्ट
पीके
पॉट
चाहिए, आ जाओ, दे दूंगा।
The last spot we have Newcastle United, not Manchester United, so sorry. Union Berlin, RC Lens, Real Sociedad, Celtic, Galatasaray.
एक चीज का
Recently मैंने
बहुत
सुना,
दुख होता है
नहीं,
कि
just to put it out,
सोसिएदाद चैंपियंस लीग पहुंच गई और अपना एल मागो रिटायर हो गया।
uh, unfortunate timing. Or just to add to that, I think so. I've just heard that PSV has also been qualified to play Champions League for this season. So congratulations to PSV. I don't know which pot you are in, but I mean, it's in pot is
आई
clear.
होप वी डोंट गेट पीएसवी though. We have
I
a familiar foe in PSV
तो
that
तो
ruined
in
our
pot,
not I wouldn't say
I think
ruined our season, but like he that one person, Steven Bergwijn, that snake plays in PSV.
control उदय control. ठीक है. Pot two. I mean, in pot two, I think so. Apart from United and Arsenal, we are eligible to get any team. Pot three, I think so, this goes for the same here.
Hmm.
Pot four, apart from Newcastle, eligible to get all the other teams. So, like, out of not giving any kind of logic or anything, क्या लगता है तेरे, like, who do you reckon are three opponents?
I would honestly feel कि
Like, okay, I'll make it bit better for you. Tell me your worst draw and your
hmm,
best draw.
see, my
I'll do the
worst draw would probably be a group of death.
same. Group of death. Yeah, your group of death, including
My
City.
group of death would be City,
Hmm.
Dortmund,
Hmm.
Milan, and Sociedad.
हाँ, सोचा था. हाँ, I think so. सोचा था. And your best and your like the best draw. Like अगर ये combination बैठ गया तो
Best
So
draw,
people
or
pick.
if, or as rival fans say, the only kind of draws we get
That's the
would
best way
be
to put it.
City, Porto, Braga, and Celtic.
हाँ, I think so. Even Galatasaray भी है तो भी मतलब it's almost the same.
Galatasaray, I agree, is at the same level, but I still feel Celtic is much worse than Galatasaray.
That
Galatasaray
is.
has known to have its moments of shock.
Hmm.
As early as I remember, I think they had a very intense game with Madrid as well.
Yeah,
So ruling out Galatasaray is would be a very naive thing to say.
या इवन अगर मैं मेरी बात भी करूँ तो ग्रुप ऑफ डेथ मेरे हिसाब से भी वही है सिटी रियल मैड्रिड एसी मिलान और
Mm,
रियल सोसिएदाद आई थिंक इट्स द सेम इट्स प्रीटी मच गिवन based on the teams that I can see over here if I have to call my like you know the best draw जिसको देख के लगता है कि हाँ वाला राउंड ऑफ 16 यहाँ से तो जाना ही चाहिए which is you have your I think so I'll take Porto in this time. I was tempted to go for RB Leipzig, पर मुझे याद आया कि RB Leipzig की टीम थोड़ी better हो चुकी है in terms of the players that they have added. So I'll take Porto in this.
mm,
Porto, I'll either go for. I mean, if not Braga, just to kind of give a difference of opinion. I think so. Lazio, I put Lazio as well. Like, since you go
mm,
Braga, I'll put Lazio as well. And Union Berlin for me. So it's so my group of death would be yeah, City, Madrid, AC Milan, and Real Sociedad. Like Real Sociedad और Galatasaray, कोई भी एक है तो मेरे लिए group of death हो जाएगा.
mm,
And like very easy draw would be yeah, City, Porto, Lazio, and Union Berlin.
mm.
Yeah, I think so. That's about it, and uh, I think so. That's all. That's all for now. That's all for it. So yeah, I mean that's all from all of us at Poison Blue 9340. Hope you like. Hope you like the stream. आपको कैसा लगा प्लीज कमेंट में बताइए एंड जस्ट रेगुलेटर लाइक कीजिए शेयर कीजिए अपने फेलो ब्लूज के साथ अगर आप किसी को जानते हैं नहीं तो फिर इवन उनके साथ भी जो फुटबॉल एंथुसियास्ट है एंड सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलिए सब्सक्राइब कीजिए साथ में बेल आइकन जो है वो दबा दीजिए ताकि आपको पता चल जाए कि हम लोग वीडियोस कब ड्रॉप कर रहे हैं एंड वी आर जस्ट 8 सब्सक्राइबर्स अवे फ्रॉम 100 तो पहली माइलस्टोन तो कम से कम आप पार करवा दीजिए किसी को भी पकड़िए अपने दोस्त को अपने माँ बाप को अपने घर में कोई काम करता है उसको रिश्तेदार जिसको भी पकड़िए बट
अगर दोस्तों माँ बाप को
क्या
नहीं
पार
पकड़ना
करके
तो उनके फोन को पकड़ो.
हाँ मतलब उनसे करवाइए कहने का मतलब ये है दिस इज
Exactly.
बेसिकली कि उनसे करवाइए मतलब वो दिखाए ना दिखाए सब्सक्राइब जरूर करवा दीजिए एटलीस्ट और थोड़ा शेयर कीजिए थोड़ा बताइए लोगों को अबाउट दिस सो इट्स फ्रॉम ऑल ऑफ अस बॉयज इन ब्लूज 9320 signing off Tanmay I'll see you in the next episode then bye everyone and before going anything come on city
Come on, City.
भूलना नहीं